Hey, this is Rich O'Neill with Elite Functional Performance here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And for our friends from Charlotte Country Day School, we're going to be taking you through a core workout today. This core workout is going to be exercise video number 4 in your series. We're going to begin with a warm-up and then take you through 3 sets of exercises involving your band with handles, and then 1 set of exercises using your continuous loop. Okay, so we're gonna begin our warm-up on the floor. You can put a mat or a towel down on the carpet. We're gonna lay flat on your back. We're gonna begin by reaching your arms to the ceiling and taking your shoulder blades down to the ground. We're gonna bring both knees up to 90 degrees at hip width distance. We call this exercise a dead bug, and we're going to take away the right arm and the left leg, bringing the heel to the floor and the thumb to the floor behind you. I'll return to starting position and then take my left arm and my right leg away, touching the thumb and touching the heel, returning to starting position. I'm going to inhale as the arm and the leg move away and exhale as they return to the center position. You're going to do 5 reps with slow control on each side. The objective with this movement is to feel the control of keeping the lower back flat on the floor throughout the entire exercise. For our next warm-up exercise, we're going to start from a quadruped position. On all fours, we're going to begin by thinking about trying to take the arch out of the lower back and make a more flat, neutral spinal position. Once I've got that position engaged through the core and I'm holding the spine flat, we're going to perform an exercise called bird dog, where I take away my right arm and my left leg out in front to full extension, come back with control, place them back in starting position. We'll tighten the core and take away the opposite, left arm, right leg. With control, return to starting position. You'll do 5 reps on each side with this exercise. Working with a slow tempo is crucial to make sure that the core stays involved with every rep. For our next movement, we'll be down in a push-up position. We want the shoulder, elbow, and wrist to be in a straight line under the shoulder. We're gonna step back, and I want the feet to be wider than hip width. If you have a mat, you're just at the outside edge of the mat. Once we're in this position, I don't wanna see the lower back arch or have the butt move toward the ceiling. We'll maintain a flat spine, and then we're gonna perform an exercise called a plank shoulder tap. We're gonna pull one arm off the floor, take it to the opposite shoulder with control, put it back down into starting position. Take the other side over with control to the opposite shoulder, and we're gonna move back and forth with control 5 times on each side. The objective is to try and keep the hips as quiet as possible and minimize any movement in the torso. So here I've got my exercise band. I removed the handles and I'm holding the band in an underhand grip. I'm gonna wrap my hands around it and then bring my arms over my head with 90-degree angle of my upper arm to my upper body. With a soft bend in the knee at hip width distance, I'm going to begin folding to the side as we perform an exercise called an overhead side bend. I'm gonna return to starting position and then move to the opposite side. We're gonna do 5 of these each way. The objective here is as I tilt to my right, I wanna feel the left side of my body through the rib cage and the armpit, all the way down to the front side of that hip, getting a little bit lengthened, stretched. I can maximize that stretch by inhaling as I tilt to the side. So big inhale as I go to the side, hold it for a 1 count, bring it back to starting position. We don't want to get too much movement side to side here without stopping in the middle. We want to try to keep the chin out of the chest and maintain an upright spine throughout the entire exercise. Okay, so we're going to begin our work sets. Here we're at our high attachment with the elastic band. If you've got any questions about how to set up the attachments with the band in the doorway, please refer back to the first video where we go over each level and how to secure a door anchor properly. So for our first exercise, we're going to perform a half kneeling, high to low chop. So we're going to come down into a position where one knee is down and the other is out at 90 degrees. I want the knee that's down to be the knee closest to the anchor. I'm going to grab both handles with both hands. The inside hand will grab both and the outside hand will wrap over. Once I've got my hands in the right position, I'm going to chop down toward the outside of that front knee, coming back with control to that high position near that inside shoulder. I'll chop on an exhale, slow control back to starting position on an inhale. You're going to do 8 of these on each side. We'll maintain slow control and a tall upright spine. So here we'll switch direction. I'm gonna make sure that I grab both handles with that inside hand and then have the outside hand wrap over. We'll place the inside knee down, shoulders are back, tall upright spine. We'll chop down on an exhale. 8 times on each side. So for our next exercise at the high attachment point, we're gonna grab both handles, one in each hand with an overhand grip. I'll set up my feet to be squat stance, toes pointed forward, hip width. I'm gonna drop down into a medium squat, half squat, as I sweep my arms back behind me, returning to starting position. We're not looking for full depth on this squat, just shifting the weight back into the heels as the arms sweep backward, returning to starting position with control. We'll sweep the arms back on an exhale and return the hands back up on an inhale. This exercise is called the band sweep. And we're sweeping the arms alongside the body, using the core to maintain a flat, neutral spine throughout the entire movement. So here we're gonna move our attachment from the high point down to the midpoint. Midpoint is gonna be somewhere around waist high to rib cage, somewhere in that region, about the equivalent of a countertop at the kitchen level. Get that in there. Close that door. Give it a good tug, make sure it's firm. So our next exercise at the mid-level is going to be called a Pallof press. We're going to stand perpendicular to our anchor point here. So my left shoulder is near to the anchor. You see I've used my left arm, my inside arm, to grab both handles, and then my outside hand will wrap over. Feet are set up at squat width, and my shoulders are back, spine tall. With both hands at chest level, I'm gonna inhale, and then exhale as I push my hands out in front of me, returning to starting position. This exercise is called the Pallof press, and we're gonna perform 10 each way. The objective with this exercise is to not lean to the inside as I push my hands away from my body. Maintaining a tight core and a tall spine through the entire exercise. So we'll complete 8 reps on one side and then turn and work 8 reps on the other side. Remember, I'll switch to where I have the inside arm grabbing both handles and then outside hand wraps over. shoulders back. We'll push out on an exhale for 8 reps. So for our next exercise at the mid-level attachment, we're gonna work what we call a straight arm walkout. So we're going to begin from the same position as we were in with the Pallof press. Hand over hand, shoulders back. We're gonna extend the arms out and lock the shoulders back in place. The arms will remain extended from the body. A soft bend in the elbow is okay. Straighter arms is more difficult. And from here, we're just going to step out to the side and step back to starting position. You'll notice I'm keeping my toes pointing forward the entire time and not letting the outside foot move to the outside. So toes stay straight, step out, step back. We're trying not to let the band pull to the side. And when we walk out to the side, we're trying not to lean and initiate movement in that direction. Out and back with control. We're gonna do 4 reps on that side, and then we'll rotate to the other side and complete 4 there. Switch the grip to the inside hand, extend the arms out in front. We're gonna move the band down to our low attachment, and low attachment will be anything below knee level. From about the top of the sock line to knee level. Okay, so we've got our low attachment. I'm gonna hold both hands, one handle in each hand. I'm gonna grab from behind as I'm on the floor with my head near to the anchor point. This exercise is called the reverse crunch. So once my arms are locked out in front of my chest and fully extended, I'm going to exhale as I bring both knees up to 90 degrees. Inhale both heels to the floor with control, and exhale as they come up. You're gonna perform 10 of these reps. Slow control is important. The objective is to try and maintain contact with the lower back on the ground through the entire exercise. So for our next exercise with the low attachment, we're going to set up sideways to the anchor on the back. So I'll set up and get my lower back completely flat on the floor. My knees are bent. I'm gonna grab hand over hand and bring the weight over my chest. Secure the shoulders to the floor. Then I'll bring both legs up to 90 degrees and lock that in. This exercise is called a lateral dead bug Pallof press. So we're gonna work the hands in and out while maintaining legs at 90 degrees throughout. I'll exhale as I push and inhale as the hands come down to the chest. You're gonna do 10 reps on each side. If you're looking for a more advanced version of this movement, we're going to reverse what happens with the upper body and the lower body. So we'll start from that same position. And now here I'll hold the arms in place and work the legs, alternating heel tap, one at a time to the floor for 10 each side. So when we move to the advanced variation, it's important to make sure that the upper back stays glued to the floor and not let the shoulder come up. For our next exercise, we're gonna have our continuous loop, yellow one that came in your kit, and we're going to place it around the front of the shoe, just around the toes and the lower part of the shoelaces. We'll lower you to the floor, bring the hands out alongside the body, palms up. We're going to roll the shoulders to the back of the socket and make contact with the lower back on the floor. We'll bring the legs up to 90 degrees. Now we're gonna perform an exercise called a psoas march. On an exhale, I will extend one leg out to full extension, come back with slow control to starting position, and then alternate each leg. You're going to do 6 of these on each side. The objective is to keep your lower back in contact with the floor for the entire movement. Slow control tempo throughout. Okay, so for our next exercise, we're going to take the band from the toes and bring it up over the knees. We'll return to our position where we're on the floor. Hands out to the side, palms are up. From here, we're gonna push through the heels and elevate the hips to the ceiling into a bridge position. Once I've got the lower back off the ground and the glutes are tight and engaged, I'll drive the shoulder blades into the floor and bring one knee up at a time, performing an exercise that we call a bridge march. My butt will stay off the floor the entire time. You're gonna do 6 reps on each side. Maintain slow control throughout. Make sure to bring the knee to the chest on an exhale. Well, we hope you enjoyed your core workout today, and please stay tuned for more exercise videos coming your way.